Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Bolt Banter. It's your boy Curtis here. We're previewing the game against Titans back here at the Q. Kendrick, let's get started here.
Let's do it.
McCluster's facing his old team. Same for Wiz. Come back to the Q. Chargers had a rough loss last week. Another must-win game. We've had a lot of those so far in a row. What can we look for in this offense, just generally speaking?
Our offense or the Titans offense?
Titans offense.
Titans offense. You are talking about the second rusher in the NFL right now, DeMarco Murray. And backing him up, the rookie out of Alabama, Derrick Henry. And they are a little bit of smash and dash on the half and half. They can hit you hard. They can run real fast. And you know how the Chargers are against the run. And when you got Frank Gore looking like he did against the Colts, Devontae Freeman did his thing against the Chargers. You know, with someone as good as DeMarco Murray is and as good as Derrick Henry is, that's the one to watch for. But besides for that, you got Taylor Lewan, the first-round draft pick over there at right tackle. He's going up against Bosa, so watch for those two rookies going at it. But we talk about the almost Charger for that draft last year in the trade, Marcus Mariota leading this offense. And I think he's starting to find his rhythm with guys like Delaney Walker, Kendall Wright. So
Kendall Wright's been
watch for those who in the passing game. I think Jatavis against Delaney Walker is a great matchup. I think Casey Hayward is going to be fine against Kendall Wright. But when you're talking about the main threat for this Titans offense, you're talking about DeMarco Murray.
Easily.
What do you think?
And I've seen some plays where they're running certain options and even wildcat. So they're going to be mixing it up and making it very tricky for our defense to
Mariota
stop.
can run too.
Mariota can run.
Watch out for that.
So that's going to be very tricky for us. We haven't really faced a quarterback that's completely mobile like Mariota yet this season. We'll see if Cam will still be around later on the season when we face the Panthers. But yeah, it's going to be a tricky one to take down their offense. Their offense is top 10, just like ours. Moving on, their defense. Their team identity is very similar to ours. Offense is better. Defense is kind of at the bottom. So their defense is at the bottom overall in terms of rankings.
I'm not sure that I could name a guy on the Titans defense. Perfectly honest with you. If you told me blah blah middle linebacker, I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember when he played for the Lions or the Saints. Like, that's about it on the Titans defense.
Yeah, I mean they're in the middle of the ranks. 19th overall, we're 24.
Their defense isn't what's holding it down. It's their running game and time of possession, and defense is kind of lackluster. But I mean, when you're playing Blake Bortles and a hobbled Andrew Luck and Brock Osweiler, you're not doing too bad in that division.
No, not at all. Now, one thing they do have going for them in terms of the Titans is they are pretty healthy. They have their starting guard who missed practice today and he may not play Sunday. Other than that, they are 100% healthy. Murray and Henry are both looking like goes. I think, was it Murray that had the toe?
Murray kind of had a little toe thing
but
going
he's
on,
completely
but
fine.
He's fine. He'll be all right.
Chargers, on the other hand, different story.
Woo! Get that Christmas list ready.
So just people that did not practice today. There's a lot more that have had issues, but Jatavis Brown, Hunter Henry, Craig Mager, and Denzel Perryman. Now the big one on there for me on our offense, obviously, is Henry. He's been banged up the past couple weeks. It really showed last game.
Yeah.
He wasn't the same. And
He'll play.
Perryman fights through anything, but you don't know. Right now, it's a hamstring.
Craig
issue.
Mager's definitely going to be out with concussion.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, we have another concussion issue. But Perryman has a hamstring thing going on now, so it's like he keeps fighting through these injuries and getting another one. Or, I don't expect him to play personally on Sunday. They're talking Corey Toomer and Jatavis Brown. If Jatavis mans up and goes for Sunday, because he's banged up too, those two young guys could be the starters for our Chargers at middle linebacker, which is something we probably would have never even guessed at the beginning of the season, especially Jatavis Brown. And Corey Toomer came on the team later on when we were losing people in September.
You would have thought Josh Perry would have been in there, but
yeah.
He's been banged up a little too.
Yeah, our team is barely getting by. But that being said, let's get to the keys of the game. Melvin Gordon had a great game last week. Should have maybe been given the ball on the goal line. He improved his average, guys, up to 3.6.
Wow,
He
look at
boosted
that.
it up.
After talking about it all these weeks. And guess what? That's the same thing you got to do against those Titans. They're going to control time of possession with DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry. You got to do the same thing with Melvin Gordon.
And my key to the game is not Gordon this time. It's coaches trusting the run game. They need to invest in this run game. They need to make it more of a 50-50 balance. You know, Rivers definitely had, I think, more pressure on him last week in terms of being rushed and to get all his passes right, and he had a struggle during the entire game. This Titans defense surprisingly has a good amount of turnovers and sacks, so they're kind of under the radar, but also, like Kendrick was saying, there aren't any major stars that maybe we can name that are recognized nationally. Moving on from that, one that we hear every week, touchdowns over field goals. Got to stick with that always.
And if you're kicking field goals, you got to block that C gap, not let him in on the block, huh?
Yeah, don't let
Michael
that block
Coy straight
happen.
up highlighted that, saying that we knew the Broncos like to go through the C gap and we missed the hole. How do you miss that? That's your special teams preparation. Get it done this week.
Oh yeah. And just like I was saying, you got to protect Rivers. Tennessee is third in the NFL with sacks.
Hey, how about
so, RD has 18 sacks. Their defense has 22. So they're not bad on the pass rush. So we really need to protect Rivers. Last week, that was, in my opinion, the Achilles heel of our offense really getting going time and time again. Moving on from that, you got to cause turnovers. There were a couple last week. But the problem with last week is we gave away the ball. I think the equivalent amount is the amount of times we took away the ball last week. So you can't do that. We got to hold in the ball.
that? Gotta have that turnover efficiency rating is what we're talking about.
Definitely.
Gotta force
take it
those
away,
fumbles, force a
take it
couple
away, not give it away.
interceptions, and make it happen.
And so the Chargers are fourth in takeaways in the NFL with 15. So we're doing pretty good in that category. Obviously, you've seen the Hayward picks, interceptions, fumble recoveries. We're doing pretty good on defense. But we lead the NFL with giveaways with 18. So you ask yourself, how can you win a game
if you're turning the ball over,
giving the ball up that much? And there you go. It's a big factor that not many people are really talking about. Even though I've mentioned it many weeks.
I've heard some people talking about it.
Yeah, but in terms of the amount, 18, that is
leading the NFL,
a significant amount.
Yeah, it's bad.
You can't be winning games like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Also, shut down that run game, as we were talking about. We got the dynamic trio that could really make things difficult for us on Sunday, including Mariota. So shut that down early. Overall, Chargers have done pretty well against the run game from past teams, but this is a challenge they really haven't seen yet this season. So we'll see how they handle that. I have a full belief and trust in them. Force 3 and outs. Don't let them create momentum. We want to see Kaiser kick butt out there. Call plays that work. There were a couple plays last week where I was like, is this the right play?
Situation. Call the plays
goal line
for the
especially,
situation.
but overall maybe here and there. And part of that, I think, is keeping that balance of the run game and pass game. And then also, our favorite one that we say every week is finishing that game.
You play to win the game. Play to win the game.
Play to win the game. Any other thoughts or tidbits?
Just watch for DeMarco Murray, watch
yeah.
for Mariota, and watch for Delaney Walker, and then watch for Derrick Henry in there. Those are guys to watch for.
And their linebacking core is very experienced, and we got to watch out for those killers in the middle on their defense. So we'll see what we can do back at the queue. We need this win. Got to be 4-5. Got to be 4-5.
Powder blue. Get
Powder
it done.
blue. Reppin' on Sunday. So wear your powder blues on Sunday, and let's go Bolts. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and like it below. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And tell me in the comments down below what you're most excited for on Sunday. And go Bolts.
Bolt up, San Diego.
Bolts up.